Not,
Yeah, well, no,
not very
I
high.
gotta see what I can get.
My knees are like this.
That's a lot of time. It's-
Oh,
Yeah, so he had a really bad fever. I thought it broke on
That's a
Saturday,
little-
now he's like coughing.
Yeah, 30,
Still had a
6,
little bit of
5
fever
foot.
here and there.
I always feel like I was
fine, but it's
behind
just
them.
really weird.
I know.
People.
Yesterday, but I do CrossFit and I was able
Yeah.
to do everything
Yeah.
at full capacity, so I'm like.
I know, I gotta get
But
that.
I don't know, I think
wanna
I'm
try
fighting
it.
it, but as an
Yep.
adult, obviously I have a much stronger.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay.
This spring.
COVID numbers really aren't up in Morgan County, but I
I
think
think I was at the last meeting, was I?
No, I
No.
Seems like,
I got to hit the hammer one time.
well, you'll have plenty of time.
Doesn't it seem like a lot of times?
You had to hit it?
No,
that
just the
to
view.
balance out everybody's
got a
fears and stuff, that, you know, that still does happen too.
That's what I wanted to pencil. Need to be point.
So I have to do a public hearing on these ordinances. I have to do
No,
public
no, no,
comment.
no, this is the introduction.
Says introduction?
Public hearing,
Final.
adoption of that one.
So I have to give public comment, right? Yeah, I always get that mixed
Yeah,
up.
to exceed the,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we have public comment
Right.
on these 3. Oh,
No, no, this is the first.
Oh, first reading, right. Yeah, yeah, these are public.
You gotta give them a chance to talk.
Are you?
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
We're removing one.
Good.
how you make it out?
Budgetary commitment.
Amy got
got-
your
I
water.
came
You want
off.
water? I got your water.
Okay.
You want a cold one?
Did you already do that?
No, she took it off.
It's an extra.
Okay.
Mics are on, just to let you know. The mics are on. Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of April 12th, 2022, with instructions for internet access, was included in a meeting notice sent to the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post on January 6th, 2022, and advertised in said newspapers on January 9th, 2022, and January 12th, 2022. Respectfully posted on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building on January 6, 2022, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. So in addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. So the first order of business would be the flag salute, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, we can. Mayor McLaughlin,
Here?
Mr. Levinson,
Here.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Here.
Mr. Klaus,
Here.
Mr. Montgomery.
Present.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 8th.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin.
I'll abstain, I was not here. In the report section, we have the tax collector, code enforcement, fire official, construction, and emergency services reports for March 2022.
I move we accept the reports.
Second?
Mrs. Gilmore,
Yes.
Mr. Levinson,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin.
Yes. I'm going to interrupt the agenda. We have Mrs. Kelly here to offer a report. I take it from the Environmental Commission, is that right, Paula?
Yes.
Okay, come on up, Mrs. Kelly.
Right, my name is Mrs. Kelly. I'm presently the chairman of the Hainesport Township Environmental Commission. At this time, I would like to tell you that the commission is in the process of changing. All of us on the board, except for one, have been on the board since it began about a quarter of a century ago in 1998. At this time, I would like to tell you that one of our members, Roger, has put in his resignation, and I'm going to read what he wrote to me. Please accept this as my resignation from the Hainesport Township Environmental Commission. I've been a member on the commission since it formed almost a quarter of a century ago, and I've been happy to make my very small contribution to the township. But at this time, I'd like to make room for a new member. I hope to contribute as a member of the public when there are technical issues which may be helpful. And I would pray that, or hope that you would accept this recognition from Roger Hessel. I am also stepping down as chairman of the Environmental Commission as of July 1st, for a little bit of the same reasons, to give somebody else on the committee the opportunity to step up and take that post. I recognize that this position as chairman is appointed by the mayor, so that would have to take place. The Environmental Commission has changed over the years. Throughout the pandemic, we did meet virtually, but for years we spent most of our time going over applications that were coming before mainly the planning board, but sometimes the commission had us do certain things that would help. We've always taken part in Hanesport Day, and we're now shifting to doing more educational things. With the app that I'm not sure, is it up and running yet?
Not yet, it's almost.
It's almost. When the app is up and running, we hope to put things on about different soils, different things that you can do, how the environment, how you can work in your yard for gardens, attracting bees, attracting birds, etc. So I don't know if anybody has any questions before I leave.
Well, thank you for your time and your efforts and your energies and all that you've done with this. My children, my 4 children went through Hainesport School, and I know that you were there and talking with them and seeing you here and there over these years, because I think I've been here a little more than 25 years then, if that's when it was, 98. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tish, but I also wanted to thank you for your ear from time to time for the short period of time that I've been on the Environmental Commission. You've been a real great asset, and you'll be sorely missed. Thank you.
Well, I plan on still being on the commission, just
Yes.
not as the chairman, at least at this time. And I still have offered to be the liaison between the commission and the land use board. That could change, but at present, that's what it's going to be. And to bring up your comment about school, the Environmental Commission is going to be very much involved in Hainesport Day, and also, and Don, you're going to have to fill me in on the dates. I think it's the 20th. They're going to have the tree, the garden.
Earth Day?
Well, that's Earth Day, but,
There's nothing that I'm aware of right now with regard to the tree.
okay.
So it's really just Earth Day that we're going to focus on.
And during Earth Day, the school is going to be taking part, 6th grade in particular, have done a project which they will be presenting on Earth Day whatever comes forward. See Donna Casey.
But
Okay,
the commission's very involved with Earth Day. They're going to
Yes.
be represented there also.
will be representative, yes.
Right.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Tish.
you, Tish.
Thank you, Tish.
So next, we're going to entertain comments from the public on agenda items only. So obviously, if it's not on the agenda, public comment will wait till the next opportunity. Is there anybody here that wants to comment on something on the agenda? Do we have people online?
We do have one person online.
Okay, close the public comment portion. Next, we have a few ordinances. The first is ordinance 2022-3, which is to exceed our municipal budget appropriate limits. Basically, it's just some bookkeeping to move expenses around within line items. I'm going to entertain comments or questions from the committee first. And then this is open for public comment or questions. Anybody have a question on this ordinance? With that, I'll close public comment and open it for a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. Ordinance 2022-4 is to provide for and determine the rate of compensation of officials and employees of the Township of Hainesport. This is a public hearing and final adoption. So again, I'll entertain any questions that the committee may have or comments. Okay, anybody from the public like to ask a question or comment on this ordinance?
Mayor, may I offer
No.
a slight change, please?
Well, go ahead.
Okay. So item number 25 and item number 27, the minimums on those two positions need to be reduced due to the position going from full-time to part-time. So I did consult with our solicitor. It is not significant enough that we have to reintroduce this. There's small changes that need to be made, so those correct numbers are reflected on the ordinances that you have in front of you. So number 25 minimum is $5,044, and number 27 minimum is $23,261. But those amounts were not on the first ordinance that was introduced. But they are corrected on this for public hearing.
Anybody have any comments on the changes? All right, with that, I'll close public comment and move for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. So ordinance 2022-5 amends ordinance 2021-6, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain property known as Block 103.1, lots 1 and 8, Block 113, lot 4.5, and specifically amending the Long Bridge development plan. We're speaking about the property on Route 38 that some of it is just a little bit off Morn Highway, commonly known as the Revicchio property in past times. So this is a Hainesport Mount Laurel Road, I meant, yes. I only lived there 30 years.
This is the one not across the street from the Wawa, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of,
Our dealership?
yes. There's the old Volkswagen dealership that's sort of on the corner. This property's, I would say, south west of that, but again, it's the big expanse on Route 38. The Township Committee, as long as I've been on the Township Committee, we've tried to spur some development, help get something going over there, and had many, many meetings, and, you know, the developer, I guess, and the owners finally coming in with some development. Anybody have any questions or concerns about? This is not, this will be adopted finally on May 10th. The public will have a chance to comment on it.
This is just introduction.
Pardon me?
This is just introduction.
Right, this
Yeah.
is just an introduction.
Mayor, I'm just a basic thing, it's like really the gateway to Hainesport. It borders right near Mount Laurel right there, so I mean, it's a nice piece of property, and Bruce Levinson and I were running, we looked at that, and we don't know, we ran on anything like that, but it was basically just as, wow, this is a lot of potential here. And there's certainly homes being put up in Mount Laurel, further up on 38, and then all around Mount Laurel in the vicinity. So it seems like to be a lot of opportunity there to the gateway to Hainesport on Route 38, so.
Okay, we have a motion.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes, next we have the resolutions portion of our meeting. These items are considered routine by the Township of Hanesport and will be enacted by one motion. I'm going to go through them very quickly. There will be no formal discussion. If discussion is desired by the committee, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. The first item is 2022-56-4. This is introduction of the 2022 budget. Resolution 2022-57-4, again, establishing the rate of compensation for certain positions. Resolution 2022-58-4, authorizing position of clerk typist from part-time to full-time and establishing rate of pay. Resolution 2022-59-4, authorizing position of administrative assistant number 3 from part-time to full-time and establishing the rate of pay. Resolution 2022-60-4, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions for a pollinator garden at the Hainesport Municipal Complex Park. And Resolution 2022-61-4, authorizing a flag display policy. So those items are up for motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. I'm going to make a quick comment on some of the resolutions because I'm allowed to, but never before have I seen so much going on in town. Of course, you can go up 38 and look at Mount Laurel. You can go anywhere, Morn Highway, but development is coming our way. We've just never seen more activity in town. And, you know, a lot of people would say that they would rather have nothing there. There's some merit to that, but these people have a right to develop their property, and it's almost impossible to stop it. So the township's just been unbelievably barraged with applications for you-know-what. So next is the resolutions for, to appoint 2022-62-4, appoint a commercial appraiser as expert witness for certain tax appeals.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. Resolution 2022-63-4, designating a master redeveloper for certain property known as Morn Highway Redevelopment Area, Block 24, Lots 4.01, et cetera.
Just to clarify, Bruce, if someone can clarify that for people listening, where that is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's over there, Morn Highway. And
Okay.
And the bypass,
It's the Shin property, isn't it?
Yes.
Morn Highway and the bypass. I know, we do these lot and blocks, and, you know, a lot of people complain. Well, I guess one day we'll try to put the streets.
Well, needs to be specific, and that's specific. That's why I just asked the
Yeah,
question, just
and
to give
you
a
know,
flavor for it, though. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Motion to approve 2022-63-4? Are we ready for that?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. And last but not least, Resolution 2022-64-4, authorizing execution of a redevelopment agreement for the construction of certain facilities and improvements in the Morn Highway, Mount Holly bypass redevelopment area. Would you expand on that a little bit?
It's pretty standard. It's not the same type of redevelopment agreement that we had with Hainesport Commerce Center because there's no pilot agreement. This is a standard ad valorem transaction. So it's just a standard redevelopment agreement.
Same area, right?
I'm sorry?
Same area.
Yes.
Any
Motion.
questions?
I was
Comments?
going to make a motion to
Good,
approve. Okay, motion to approve 2022-64-4.
I'll second that.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. Just trying to get the business. So we have some business licenses to
Yes.
approve. Next, if I can find them. Anybody want to recite them?
No. The whole page.
How many?
full.
Too many? Too many? Oh, there it is. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, there's a whole lot. Buried in here somewhere. I saw it.
I'll make a
but-
motion
But I
to approve.
can't get it right now. There's too many to mention. It's that time of year. So,
I made a motion to approve.
and we, in the old days, we used to make sure their taxes were paid. We do that, right?
Absolutely.
So all their taxes are paid. There's nobody getting a license that hasn't paid their taxes. So with that, we'll ask for a motion.
I made a motion.
Sorry.
I'll second Leela's motion.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. And as Mrs. Kelly mentioned, we have correspondence to receive the resignation letter of Roger Hessel from the Environmental Commission. Make a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yep.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. Okay, so we have comments from the public right now on anything you would like to speak about. And we'd like to try to, well, it's early, so if you're, need to make your point, we have Anna up first.
Anna Evans, 63 Parry Drive. A few quick things. First of all, when is Hanesport Day?
June.
June the 4th?
June, is it the first?
Fourth.
4th.
June the 4th. Okay, thank you. On Ordinance 2022-5, which is the one that we are having the first reading on, can we make sure that ordinance is put on the website before the public hearing and final adoption? I know we have a small...
2022-5, did you say?
2022-5.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a small problem with that last month, that the ordinance wasn't put online, so I just wanted to make sure that happens. And then on the redevelopment areas, I have suggested this before. It is so confusing where all these development areas are around town. Can we not just put a map of Hanesport, a diagram map, it doesn't have to be a map of Hanesport, on the website with like dotted lines, and then label all of the development areas what they're actually called, so that when we get to like resolutions B and C, apparently this is the same area, but you don't actually call it the same thing. You call it Marn Highway Redevelopment Area in B and Marn Highway Mount Holly Bypass Redevelopment Area in C. It's just adding another layer of confusion. If we could always call them the same thing, and if we could have a map diagram on the website labeling them so that everybody can just go refer to it and go, oh, that's that one, that's that one. Like you say, Mayor McLaughlin, there's so much redevelopment going on, it's hard to keep it all straight in one's head where it all is. And I think that that would be a help for the residents of Hainesport.
So, great idea. What I'll do is I'll extract the maps that are within each of the redevelopment plans that are all currently online.
Yeah.
I'll extract that one page from each of those areas and compile it into one document.
Right.
Easy peasy to do, and I'll
Right.
put it on the site, and it'll have each of those.
And then
So
can we
it's on
try-
there, it's just, I
yeah.
see what you're saying, it'd be nice to just put it all in one spot instead of having to open up each plan.
Right, and can we try and be consistent in what we call them as well? So we always call them the
But,
same thing.
Annie, you know we're creating a legal record, and we need to describe the tracks by their legal name.
But that's
So
my
it's
point.
lot, block, this, that.
No, I get that,
So-
but-
So it's a little, but to create the record, the legal description of the property has to be cited, but
But in B
a
and
street-
C, you've called it different
a
things.
street name, well,
One is for the facilities.
there's
one is
other-
for the
there's other-
Property, right?
well, excuse me.
Property, and the other is for the facilities? Isn't that why it's called something different? Paul?
Others,
No, it should also include,
No,
let me
if
just make
it's,
sure that they are, let me just
My
make sure that
understanding
they
if it's
are.
improvements, it's the road, more than
hold on,
likely
hold on,
something that's existing.
Guys, this is, just
Let me
one at
just
a
make sure
time,
that
one
they
at
are
a time,
properly named.
fellas, if you don't mind, so we can at least get
Are
a
the same.
transcription of the meeting.
No, you're right. We should have included the second part of the redevelopment area title to that
Right.
first resolution. So it should be Marn Highway hyphen Mount Holly Bypass redevelopment
Right,
area.
but that's all I'm saying, Madam
Yeah,
Clerk.
that
Not-
was-
Not that I understand why we need to
All right.
call things by their lot numbers, but can we at least get the redevelopment areas called the same thing every time we refer to them? So that it
Yeah,
just
until, I got you,
adds a level of
until
confusion.
somebody else buys it, and then they change the name on us again, I hear you.
Okay,
No, I agree with you.
And to your point, and I agree, that's why I bring it up when I say, this is where?
Yeah,
Because
exactly,
I want to
yeah.
get a, yes,
and I mean, they're all on sort of like bits of 38, bits of Marn Highway, so the names actually have overlapped.
yep, exactly.
Okay, final thing I just wanted to say, I think you know by now that I'm running again, along with Deborah Harris. I'm looking forward to a very pleasant, positive campaign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kitty, the Prskavich family had their hand up first, so if you don't mind, I'm going to let them go.
Michelle Prskavich, 51 Easton Way. I fire a company that couldn't come to my home, water hydrants that did not work, and an ambulance squad that arrived nor assessed me nor asked to assess me. My question to the board is, how are we providing public safety to the town of Hanesport?
Okay, well, much,
It's been 4 weeks.
Today. Understand. So, ultimately, the Township Committee and our administration takes the responsibility for fire services in our town. Although we've been very fortunate over the years, the buck stops here. I'm told that 16 entities actually went to your fire. And I understand there was difficulty in getting water on the fire initially. We don't pretend to know about firefighting or try to explain events. However, we've been learning a whole lot lately as a result of this tragic loss of your family. Paul and I have had a lot of meetings. And being a small town with limited equipment and volunteer firefighters, we all see Mount Laurel responding to our fires first, quite a bit as they did in this fire. And all towns, large and small, firefighting services is much dependent on mutual aid. For instance, our fire police are used heavily by surrounding towns to relieve police in emergencies, as I found out. Our tankers are called upon by outside towns frequently to get water to other towns' fire trucks. Our Hainesport Fire Department is a very integral part of other towns' mutual aid as they are ours, and are kept quite busy in offering each other mutual aid. So where do we go from here? In the end of the day, again, it's our responsibility to follow through with protecting our residents. As the committee and our administrator have reviewed this particular fire, we've had meetings, and we're looking to see what our government can do to help the Hainesport Fire Company increase response times in the future. Something else I learned in this endeavor, with severe declines in volunteerism in this country and the very complicated process to become a firefighter, towns all over the country have seen drops as much as 500,000 or more in their volunteer departments. Hanesport is no different. We struggle to staff our services. There are a lot of ideas out there that are being implemented to make up for this lack of volunteers. To wit, Paula and with my support, have reached outside to experts in the field of fire protection to offer us take a look at our fire services, our municipality, and offer us suggestions on how we can move forward. Once we choose an expert, we will seek opinions and work with the fire department on implementing mutually agreed solutions. This in no way reflects on the dedication of our current firefighters. Hanesport government has long supported our ambulance and fire companies, and there is no intention by the committee to do anything but offer cooperation for improvement in all areas of our municipal services to better serve our residents. And again, I consider you two good friends, and I'm very sorry about your loss. And we need to take a look at, what.
So what are
we
you
can
guys
do.
doing for the immediate protection of us? What
Well,
changes have taken
we-
place?
we-
Are
we-
the fire hydrants inspected in the town? And who's in charge of that? And I'd love to see the records of
Right.
when it happened and since the fire when it's happened.
Right. So, again, in getting into this side of the business, which I know we don't, this is not something we have expertise in up here. We're finding out that there's almost no standardization of pipe threads for fire hydrants. And we're gonna do something
But
about
those excuses
that.
cost me my
Pardon me?
home of 30 years with my husband.
Pardon me?
But those excuses cost me 30 years.
Well, I'm not.
With my husband in that house.
Michelle, I'm not offering an excuse, but, I have a little bit of a timetable, and, to correct me if I'm wrong, but the call was dispatched around 4:14. It was created. It was dispatched 4:17. Engine 2722 arrived 9 minutes later, and I don't really know who Quint is, but I guess that's another engine arrived a little early, a little late, well, actually a couple minutes early. The chief was on scene at 4:23. I mean, this is 6 or 7 minutes after the fire was dispatched,
And when was water put on my house?
I mean,
At
his,
that time?
I
Was it by
understand,
the Paul,
I
the
understand.
people in the room?
But at that point, from what I'm being told, and you, Michelle, you were there, I wasn't, and I know you weren't there.
My porch was gone.
The house was pretty much-
4:26. The porch was gone.
You're right.
The windows did not break till after
Yeah, it was
4:26.
it was pretty
when
much-
the smoke detectors went off.
They have a term for it, enveloped or taken. And the ambulance did get there at, I guess it was 11 minutes later after the call. And then a variety of other entities showed up, and all told 16 people. Not soon enough. I mean, not soon enough. I mean, we had some meetings, and I think the goal moving forward with our fire service is to have somebody dispatched and possibly on scene in 12 minutes, one of our tankers. That's going to involve a whole lot of change for our
Well,
fire
yes, we were
service.
told you had to drive to West Hampton to get a tanker.
Yeah,
He left the street on Eckerd
yeah.
to drive past my house.
Understood.
How do you think those volunteers feel, knowing
Pardon me?
that they left me just there burning as they drove past to go get some water?
Yeah, I hear you.
Horrible. I
I
can't
understand
imagine.
there was a difficulty in getting the fire hydrants, working. But again, I'm not here to justify anything. We
We want to see change.
I understand. I'm a nurse. When I walk in a room and my patient is blue, I don't go, we're done here, they're already dead. My job is to bring them back. When you pull up to someone's home, you're there to save the people on the inside and what's on the outside. You don't go, I'm done, and put my hands up, and let's just watch someone's life
Yeah.
disappear in front of them. I save that person and bring them back,
Yeah.
and then tell their family member they're okay
Yeah.
again. That's my job.
Yeah, I
As
got
a
you.
nurse, to save my patient. Their job is to save my home and show up to save it. Not determine, the front porch is on fire, it's
So,
late.
yeah, I mean, it's obvious that we don't, I mean, a good thing that happened last week is we had our services out on Route 38, and the Eastern Church caught on fire, and thank goodness they were on 38, and they ran over there and saved the Eastern Church. So there's some good stories intermingled. I think we all realize, even the fire service people that were in our last meeting, realize that we don't necessarily have the ability right now to be on site within everybody's agreed that, and one of our fire inspectors here, that there's
George
a
has been
national.
phenomenal.
there's
George
a-
has been phenomenal.
There's a national standard out there, and he's got all the information,
So
all
what
the
is your
standard.
game plan for
12
having a
minutes.
game plan to provide safety for our town
Well,
of
we don't-
Hanesport?
we don't-
I'm trying to contemplate, do I dare rebuild and
Yeah.
return here? I love
Well-
the community.
well, yeah,
I love the people
I hear
I'm
you.
with. I love the support they've shown me.
Well, we were
But I
there-
have a huge loss that I have to come
Yeah,
over.
again, and correct me
2
if I'm
months,
wrong.
6 months, how long is it gonna take to come up
Well,
with a game?
give me a minute, because I don't have the answer right now, okay? Because I'm not gonna be the one to give the answer, but I can tell you that we're not letting off the matter, and it's now, we all, I mean, everybody involved realizes that, our volunteer services is stretched, and we're just, so we don't know exactly what the answer is, but I can tell you that we're bringing people in and working with the fire company and our government officials. This fire was a bit, and I don't want to diminish, what happened to you, but it's a huge wake-up call
Yeah.
for us.
So do the fire hydrants work in our town? Have they been inspected and open, and the threads are good enough to work for anyone to show up and fight a fire in our town?
Mayor,
So-
I will
Yeah, so-
give a call to American Water, who owns those fire hydrants and are responsible for inspecting them, and ensure that that does happen.
It's been 4 weeks. That call should have been made the next freaking day.
I'm sure that they are aware of it, but I want to double check that they are on it.
Then
But I don't know if there was a
do it in,
default.
email, so there's a paper trail, so
Of
when I
course.
come back, you can say, here's the communication.
Right.
Not just a phone call happened, please.
Right.
But again, I don't want to discount the value of mutual aid. I mean, we're not going to go out and buy 10 fire trucks and have 30 guys, sitting in the fire department. We're a small town. That's not going to happen. Your taxes, your local purpose tax would double, possibly triple if we went to a paid
Understood.
fire department. So we have to figure out
Universal joint.
how to.
Everybody can use.
No, okay, I understand, but you're like, what am I gonna do right now? And the answer is, we wanna everybody's agreed, involved. George is in this room, Paula, myself, the committee, all the fire officials. We believe that it's reasonable for residents to expect water on their fire within a period of 12 to no longer than 15 minutes. How we're gonna get there, we don't know yet. It might be a smattering of some paid, some bonuses, enticing some public works employees to join the fire. There's a lot of different answers that a lot of different municipalities are doing, and we're just gathering information right now. But I guarantee you that we will find a way out of this, because we just have to. I mean,
Right.
there's no,
I am Jim Ruscavage.
right.
So, a couple of things. A lot of you know me. I pay attention to detail. Everybody's going to sit here and go back and forth and talk about all these other little details and what's got to happen. Fundamentally, the system's broken. right? What we're doing right now doesn't work. So all this paperwork that you pick up and you come in every day, every month, there's got to be something in these paperwork that you deal with this every month until it's fixed. It has to be. I read through, I have all the reports. I'm a director of engineering. I can handle a lot of information in a short amount of time, right? I've read everything. So 20 minutes went by before they had water. There was a lot of systematic problems that went wrong on site that firefighting relatives that I have in my family witnessed happen at that time. So those things need to be addressed by those fire companies and our volunteer fire companies. Why didn't we have somebody to drive the truck? Hainsport's, whatever it's called in that document, for them to be over there. They didn't have a driver of that truck, so they had to get a ride from somebody else. Now, I know the excuses are going to be, well, we don't have the volunteers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
but Jim,
wait a minute, 1 second. Every month, you need to, that's something that you need to
But
address.
that doesn't mean that the fire service failed. A mutual aid, there's
I
no
understand mutual aid.
town, Mount Mar.
I listened to all the audio, and all the audio of every person checking in. You know, fire chief 5,000 and whatever, and cover, and cover, and cover. I understand it. I understand all that coverage happens. But here's the reality of it. That house, my wife got out, the dog got out.
Yeah.
She used her father's firefight, she's the firefighter's daughter. She used her savvy at that time to get the cars out of the driveway so they don't explode. The reality is she could have died. Fire alarms didn't go off. The fire was outside the house. We don't know what caused it yet, but the fire was outside the house, and it was underneath the porch. Somebody running by finds it. Michelle's sleeping. Say it's an elderly person, somebody over in Hainesport, somebody that can't get downstairs. Say it's a load of kids in the house. I'm not trying to be dramatic here. It is dramatic. Somebody could have died.
Absolutely.
You know, you talk to a psychiatrist, they say you don't want to do what ifs. I'm not trying to do what ifs. But if this happens to somebody else and you don't have, you know, I'm not a real religious guy, but you have all these people that, why was she riding by? Why did Michelle sleep without her earplugs that night? I wasn't home. You know, all these kind of things come together, and she's here, and the dog's here. And we lost a lot of stuff, yes. But the what if is really bad. If there was a house full of kids, a house full of adults, if all my kids were home, if I was home, who knows? I may have tried to run back in there to get something else. So all I'm saying is you guys need to get this together. You need to get it on an agenda, and you need to address it every month. I'll help. I love this town. The 3 bids that I have for demolition, who did I give it to? Because it's my choice. I give it to Winzinger. I could have had Belfour, who was there, do it all, but no, I keep it local. I love this town. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate the fire people, but the system is broken. You need to address it every month, somehow, some way, and I'll help.
Well,
I'll volunteer to help. I will.
And, you know, again, I don't want to,
Not like I don't have a lot of things to do but right now, but
I absolutely don't know how I'd feel if it happened to me. And, you know, and
Yeah.
again, you're friends of ours.
I understand.
And it's just a horrible situation. Thank God Michelle got out of there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think you're right. I think we need to, I'm not the only one. We need to address it, and we need to see what we can do.
Everybody
And we
here.
feel that a reasonable amount of time to have water on a fire, everybody's sort of agreed, is somewhere around 12 to 15 minutes. And the first, from what I'm learning, and, you know, we have an expert in the fire service here. I don't want to turn this into a debate.
It's not a-
I appreciate your comment, and I just want you to know that we're not kidding around either. And it's just a horrible situation that happened.
You
So
have
when I
to put
come
it-
in a month and I say, what have you done? Who have you talked to? Where's the plan traveling? You
Okay.
can give me some kind of guidance
Well,
on what we've done?
yeah, we've-
And I don't want, we did due diligence.
Oh, no,
Like,
no, we-
Specific,
Yeah, we've had
please.
about 5 or 6 meetings.
Yep, well aware.
We've talked with the fire department.
Yep.
It's a bitter pill for the municipality that, it can be taken as a bitter pill, but I think we were able to sell it, that it's going to be an improvement, and they're all great guys. I don't want to diminish what they do.
Right.
And Jerry's going to get involved as our liaison, and he's got a good relationship with the fire department. Paula, have we actually arrived at who we're going to utilize?
I've met with the consultant on Monday, and I will be making that recommendation, yes.
Okay, so Paul has interviewed a variety of experts in the field of fire fighting, and, we're going to have a consultant take a look at the town, our finances, what we're able to do, and we're going to need to come up with a way. Again, the goal is that there's water on a fire in town. Bear in mind that the pumper is 2,500 gallons. It could pump out in 5 minutes, but at least it's water
I have 500 gallons.
that,
It's 2 minutes.
well, it can pump a little more than that.
I know, but that's all that was in there. That's all we
Yeah,
had.
yeah. So, and then we have another pumper, I think that one's 1,000, and we have one 2,500. But again, the goal is, the township-wide goal is water on a fire in town, initial water within 12 to 15 minutes, which could have maybe put your fire out. Maybe, I don't know, I wasn't there.
The problem's on site. Maybe we would have lost only half the house. I'm not arguing that it wasn't a bad fire and all that stuff, but there was a lot of systematic problems that happened there that shouldn't have happened, and that's training. That's training of other departments and all that stuff.
I would
As long
defer-
as you guys address this stuff.
Yeah,
with-
no, I
with
hear you. And,
Assign somebody the responsibility, you get action item, and you get a date that it needs to be done. That's how you get things done in a group. I don't have to tell you all that, but I'm making it public record.
Yeah, I
That,
hear
yes, that's how you gotta get things done. So she's got an action item, she's gonna do it. You got an action item, you're gonna do it. So this is what we need, and I'll be here every month to see what happens and see the progression. I wanna see progress. It has to be progress. It can't be, oh, yeah, well, and this, and we had a couple of meetings like Michelle said. So that's all. I'm not gonna.
No,
bag on anything,
again,
but-
guys, you know how I
I can
feel.
offer one other thing. Her father is a commissioner in Winslow Township Fire Department. He'll consult with you for free. He's 73 years old. He's been doing it his whole life. The guy wakes up every morning and jogs 3 miles before breakfast. He's in good shape. He's a good, sound mind, and he does things by the book. Retired iron worker. He's top notch.
The problem is.
If you need a consultant, you
Yeah,
got it.
I hear you. I mean, we have a problem. It's not going to be solved by bringing Mount Laurel or Winslow necessarily type things into here. It's a Hanesport problem. We're going to have to solve it in a Hanesport
Yeah.
kind of way. Again, are we going to have a ladder truck with a,
Not
I don't know.
asking for
I don't
that.
think so.
Not
I'm just
asking.
asking for water out of a fire hydrant.
I
We're
think
asking
so.
for change,
Yep.
make sure
Yep.
things
Yep.
work,
Yep.
make sure the response is there,
Yeah.
make sure people are doing something.
Yeah, and I'll just give the committee a chance, one by one, to, if they need to make a comment or.
Absolutely. Anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Well, one of the things I found out, I don't know a lot about firefighting, which is important. That's why I'm there on Wednesday nights on duty crew. I didn't even know what duty crew was. That's the night they back up other people. But I'm there on Wednesday nights. I'm watching them go through all the equipment to make sure everything's right, test the saws, check the trucks. And it's an education to me, but I really think we need the education to make sure things are working properly. So, we're learning, And that's the goal is to learn, so this doesn't happen again, so we can improve things.
I mean, it's basically a staffing issue. There just isn't enough volunteers to do the job, and
Pay people.
we're looking
You
at
build
that.
parks, you build this, you build
We're,
that, this is
we're,
important.
we're looking at that, Jim, we're looking at every, we're not necessarily afraid to pay.
Yeah,
We just don't know the answer right now. And for me to come up with an answer, I'd be a phony, because I don't know the answer.
understand, to that end, you go to the expert and present that to the expert, because some of the fire companies do have paid guys.
They
They have
do.
paid guys and some, some are other volunteers. There's a mix, a hodgepodge of that goes on for coverage. So the answer's out there.
Yeah, it's, I mean,
The
there's
answer's
there's
no.
per diem situations out there, there's bonus situations out there. There's a variety of ways that other towns, we're not the only one dealing with this. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's.
But
it's-
reality hit us, and
Well,
now
it
there's
did.
going to be
It did.
action. So,
It did, and I apologize
You don't have to apologize
to you,
for
and
anything.
you know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I do. I appreciate everything you guys do, and we'll work together, and we got to come up with a solution. It's got to change.
Well,
We are here because if something happened to another resident because we didn't come and ask the questions,
Yeah.
I would hold it personally that I didn't do due justice for my community of Hainesport. So that's why we're here, to make sure that
Yeah.
everyone is safe, because that's what the priority should be.
Yep.
and believe me, I know both of you, and I know your intentions are pure. I do, and because I don't know how I'd feel if it was, I don't know how I'd feel if it were happened to my family.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Jim,
yeah.
Michelle, I just wanted to say I feel horrible for you guys, but I specifically want to ask you, did you see more of an issue in the quantity of volunteers, or did you see more of an issue with the fire hydrants being the problem? Where are you, did you
Fire
specifically?
hydrants are the problem. Volunteers not being able to get there was a problem. Systematic.
Hanesport volunteers not being able to
Hanesport
get
volunteers not being able to get there. I mean, that's a line item in a document that I'm reading, that they had nobody to drive the truck.
Right here.
From the
And
volunteers.
you can only obviously handle
Right.
that. The fire hydrants, I don't know who's in charge of monitoring and who's in
Yeah.
charge of monitoring Mount Holly and
Make
Mueller,
sure
but
they
again,
work.
I'd love to see those records of when they were inspected last and who's responsible for monitoring those things, because somebody has to be.
There's problems in the response and how it was responded on scene when the first truck got there. That's something that you guys don't have any control
over.
over, but that'll
That'll come out in the laundry.
that'll
as well.
sort itself out in another town and however they deal with that. But 20 minutes of not being able to get sustained water on the fire, you know, I understand trucks come up, 500 gallons, 700 gallons, but 20 minutes of time, that's a big time. Fires double every 30 seconds. Maybe George can correct me on that, but, you know, so,
Because that's the time it took for me to run upstairs when it was on the corner and
Do the
the
math.
porch was gone when I got down.
you know, every 30 seconds that fire's doubling. It's not long before it engulfs a whole house. So training on their end, whatever, that's a problem. So which one weighs more than the other? I can't answer that. But those are
But if you
three
don't have water, you
areas.
can't put out a fire.
Those are 3 areas that need to be addressed. So,
Very good,
Okay.
thank you.
yeah, all right, thank you.
Anybody else with public comment? Kitty?
We've had some controversy over a table in the street building. And I understand, Bruce, that you said you had nothing to do with it. You don't know anything about it.
I see it out in the hallway. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
But you didn't have anything to do with it.
No, I don't run the day-to-day affairs of
No, she-
Well, I was there when you
the business.
and your workman was,
I built that for
workman
you.
was in there putting the legs on it
Yeah,
and standing it up and asking if we were satisfied.
yeah. I built that one
But
for
if
you,
you can't remember that, maybe you shouldn't be mayor or getting with me.
Well,
I certainly remember it, so do the other ladies.
I was asked by you and the administrator to build a table, and we did it in a couple of hours and brought it up there for you.
Well, we were not happy with it being so big and heavy,
Okay.
but it turned out to be wonderful
Right.
because we had luncheons on it all the time. We did crafts on it. The best part about it, it was Formica. So we could wash it with bleach wipes. We never had to worry about any germs or anything through all this epidemic. And, okay, they decided, when I said we wanted to keep it, no. I was told, Kitty, it's gone. Forget it.
Right.
Okay, fine. So then they come and say, well, we'll give you some other tables. And they said, you pick them out. So I picked out tables that they were showing me. I said, okay, whatever. And I said, I guess the couple of them would be good, but then I thought about it, and I called and said we really need 3 because it's going to be too small. And you could always fold them up and just use the one or whatever amount that you needed. So we go to our meeting, the table is gone.
Which table? This one?
The one you made.
Right.
Well, what do you need? You need another one?
It's no longer in the street building.
Do you need a lighter one? You need something else?
They've ordered 2 tables.
Oh, well,
to replace.
okay, so they
What
ordered.
I'm saying is, it was gone, and you didn't have the new ones. Now, you would have thought
Okay.
it would have been a nice gesture for the township to get the new tables
First,
before they took that other one out, so that if we had that covered dish, which we were going to have, something would have been there to put it on.
But they didn't have that. They canceled the cookie.
Leela, you got something to say? Say it in the microphone.
well, wait a minute. Yeah, she's asking
I
me
said,
so she can get a chance to explain what happened, because I'm not really not aware of it, other than I see the table out here that we
It
made.
just seems like that they think that we are old. I'm old, I'm 80. But I still have a brain.
Well, can you give Mrs.
said-
Gilmore a chance to explain what's going
no, I
on with
was
the table?
just repeating what
She
she
knows all
said.
about
They
it.
canceled.
So does Leela know all
They
about it. I've
canceled
talked
the
to everybody in this
potluck.
township about it.
Okay.
I brought it up before.
What can we do to correct it? What
I'm
can we
just
do?
telling you that it would be nice. A friend of mine told me a word, and it's the best one. It would be kind if this township thought a little bit ahead and treated us like you supposedly treat everybody here. So that when you take that table out, you have the other ones there first.
Yeah.
Do we have a new
First.
tables on the
There are
way?
tables at the building.
There are tables there now?
They're not the new.
I don't know if they're
tables,
even there
but
now.
There are tables at the
So-
building.
so-
And I think there's one new one at the building, correct.
So
yes.
there are temporary tables there now, Kitty?
And then
Listen.
one new one is there.
And
It's
one
been a
new-
controversy because they threw all our stuff away. And I talked to Donna Casey and I said, "You threw our crafts away." I said,
Your what?
"I paid $15 a piece for them."
Correct.
Oh, carafes.
She said, "Oh, am I saying it wrong? Sorry about that. I'm old.
No,
I can't hear good, so I don't say things right." But anyway, she threw them away and I said, "Why did you throw them away? I paid $15 a piece for them." "Oh, they didn't have any tops on them." I said, "What?" "They didn't have any lids." Baloney, they didn't have any lids. I just think we could be treated a little kinder. I mean, I've been paying taxes in this township. The last time I moved here for good was 40 years ago. But I was in there on and off while my husband was in the service. And we were in different places. I lived in this township 66 years. And I think you could be a little kinder to us. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to make a public comment? Come on up. Bill. Oh, we have somebody online?
I'm
Okay.
on the Zoom call. I'd like to make a comment.
Okay, Bill's here, so he'll wait. Go ahead. We were going to offer the internet a chance, but go ahead, ma'am. State your
Thank
name,
you.
state,
Deborah Harris, 7 Elstar Drive.
okay.
I just want to say that this past weekend, my family attended the Easter event in Hainesport Township. And it was a really wonderful event. The kids had a really great time. And the Easter Bunny arrival was incredibly special, especially to the young kids. So I just wanted to thank the township for holding that event for the children. Thank you.
I think we had
Thank you.
a lot more people than we planned on.
Over 300.
We ran
How many people, I was out of town.
It was a lot.
300.
There was over 300.
Is that right?
We ran out of eggs,
Well, we managed to
but
find eggs.
anyway. And it was a little harrowing for us, but sometimes things go unnoticed that
We got through it.
other people notice.
Did
Bill,
Jerry-
come on
did
up.
Jerry take too many eggs to begin with, and that the problem
No,
is?
I did not ruin it this year.
To the kids?
Yeah.
All right, so, let it work
Okay,
out.
okay.
I think pretty much everyone knows me. For those who do not, I am Bill Challenger. I live at 106 Pine Lane in Hainesport. I am here as a resident. And yes, I am involved with the fire department. I'm very sorry that I missed what you two had said. But I want the township to realize something. We're hurting very badly. Every year, we send out a fund drive letter to people in this township, every resident, requesting, of course, we request money, but the bottom line is we request personnel. We need personnel. We need people who will stand up and help us in our fire department. We need people who are willing to be volunteers. I am going to read you a list of names, and then I'm going to read you that list of names again. Sean Bozarth, Nathan Budden, Paul Bush, William Challenger, Bianca Severus, Ben Donamede, Derek Perez, Eric Godberson, Mark Hopkins, Michael Houlihan, Dakota Huntsman, Jared Huntsman, Chris Lippincott, Tom Mason, James McKenzie, George Myers, Richard Parks Sr., Richard Parks Jr., Don Platt, Kevin Stokely, Walton Sweeney, Pat Tricoci, A.J. Watson. I read you 23 names. Now I'm going to read you names again. Listen very closely. Sean Bozarth, Ben Donamede, Mark Hopkins, Michael Houlihan, Dakota Huntsman, Jared Huntsman, James McKenzie, I can't read Kevin Stokely, no, I can't. They are the people that I just read to you. I don't know if you paid attention how many names I read. They are your people who live in this township. Okay? That's it. I think I read you maybe 10 names, tops, out of 23. That should tell you how much we need help. All right? I don't know what the answers are. Honestly, I'm afraid to see what may happen, but I'm afraid it will happen. And I think you all know what I'm talking about, and it's inevitable. Volunteers in the state of New Jersey are a dying breed. We're doomed. If we're doomed, you all are doomed. All of you are doomed because we can't provide the support that we have to do. All right? That's all I've got to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bill.
Anybody else with public comment? So with that, we'll transition to comments from the administrator. You know, let me back up. You know, George, I know you, I appreciate you coming. I know you're here for executive session. And I'm gonna give you the floor if you want it, to add, it's anything you can add to the, that you may want to speak about. I know I don't want, you know, we tried to not get into a debate about the fire. Bill, you know, the Perscavages were very eloquent in their concerns for the future of our fire service, with, you know, withstanding the terrible loss that they did, and they kind of echoed some of your sentiments. But, you know, George, at all due respect, I have a lot of respect for you, George, and I just wanted to see if there's anything, you know, you don't have to come up, but if there's something you want to talk about.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to keep
week with the fire company to work on 3 different things. Getting a consultant here to do an evaluation of all emergency services, try to set a goal on response times, and move forward. So I could sit here and beat a dead horse about fire
Okay.
service, which is my passion, for another hour, but it's not really going to change anything tonight. We have 3 things we're going to move forward in doing, and I think we should do that as soon as possible.
And for those in the audience and maybe online, George is our he's our fire inspector, fire official. And I gained a lot of respect for George during the Perscavage fire. I had really no opportunity to really speak with him or interact with him up until then. And we've been talking an awful lot lately. And, you know, I appreciate you. And he's involved. We're all involved in this issue. So with that, sorry. I just had to do that.
It's good. Just a couple items with regards to the playground out here at the municipal park. We are looking at a grand opening, ribbon cutting for it sometime the week of May 2nd. Of course, everything is contingent upon the weather. The sidewalk repairs along Laurel Ridge Road, Craig Drive, and Sandra Lane will be done at some point this month by Deckers. And then finally, as you may recall, we went through an exercise of reviewing Hainesport Township's brand through a brand audit. We contracted through your approval, Gruskin Creative, to conduct this audit. And through the process, the township employees as well as the residents were engaged and asked a pretty good fair amount of questions with regards to how they felt about Hainesport's branding, its logo, how they felt about Hanesport, and I'll go through some of those quick questions, but I wanted to go through the report for the branding so you all can help make a decision in terms of what direction we want to go from here. So as you can see, we have the current Hainesport Township logo. A lot of this information was pulled from our website. So it's the logo that apparently was created in the 70s. I think it was 1976 by 2 students through a contest. And one student, I believe her name was Emily Porto, created the steamboat as well as the dock. And another young man, I forget his name, created the outline of Hainesport and then the old style lettering. And that is how Hainesport's logo was established, 1976. It's been here ever since. So some other things that I think the residents and the employees relate to the branding of Hanesport is the municipal park, the aerial view, our pavilion, as well as our emergency services. On the right is a snapshot of our new improved website. So the goal of the brand audit is to clarify the township of Hainesport's current brand and what it represents to the community. Through the process, we've gained a better understanding about what people value about Hainesport, what they identify most with, and how the brand is being expressed and represented in the town's physical and digital spaces. So the process started with asking the employees as well as the governing body some key questions. I'm not going to go through them, but those are some of the questions that were asked. What are 5 adjectives that best describe your town? What's the primary message that you want to convey to your residents and visitors? What emotion do you want your new brand to evoke if there is one? So the resident survey. So we felt that it was very important to get the residents' input on the process to get a data-driven sense of how the brand is being perceived by our residents. So it helps our residents, it gives them the assurance and confidence that their opinions matter to you guys as the township committee. What are some of the changes that they don't prefer? What are some of the values and needs that should be considered during this process? And some of the questions that were asked of our residents: what do you wish more people knew about Hainesport? Are there elements of the existing logo that you'd like to keep? If so, what and why? And please tell us a story about your favorite memory. And I know that there are people in the audience that did participate in the survey, so it was very much appreciated. We had about 65 residents that participated in the survey. And these are some of the common words that they extracted: small town, quaint, historical, friendly, family-oriented, and open space. So in summary, resulting from the committee and the employees survey, Hainesport is a small but strong town. There's a strong sense of community. It's family-oriented, friendly, and quaint, all things that are valued traits. People have an active lifestyle and like all of the outdoor amenities. Town has great schools and low taxes, not much shopping, and there is interest in drawing retail. Brand history. The town's history of being a small port town is important and should not be lost. But the town has changed a lot, and there is less of a direct connection to this history. The brand is dated, but overall, residents like connecting to their history as a town. Colors that connect for the committee are mostly green, maybe blue and yellow, and should be nature-inspired. The resident survey summary, the emotional connection to the town. Residents gave a similar response as the governing body and the employees. Quiet, family-friendly, community-oriented, has a classic small-town community vibe. Growth. There are some strong negative feelings about the development. However, this makes a small percentage of people than the combined group of people who are a more neutral sentiment or specifically welcome growth. Branding. Most people don't have a strong opinion or do have some ideas for what they like to keep or change, and smaller groups either strongly dislike the logo or don't want it to change at all. So some key attributes again, Rancocas Creek, Municipal Park, Longbridge, the county park, effective local government, low taxes, old-fashioned feel, smart growth, safety and quaintness, transformed farming community, parks and rec. And then some of the key attributes from the residents. Low taxes, great place, small town, sense of community, family, friendly town, good people, green spaces, good value, great school system. So brand reflection. Does our existing brand reflect who we are today and where we want to be in 5 to 10 years? So top township attributes from both the residents and the committee: green space, small town, low taxes, family-oriented, sense of community, and history in that order. So addressing fears. How can a rebrand reflect who we are now and where we're going while addressing our residents' concerns about change? So positive versus negative responses. What should more people know about Hanesport? I thought it was quite funny that most people wanted to keep it a secret. Most people said it's a great town. Some people said no response. I'm not sure what know about us is. But how do you feel about the development? A lot of people were neutral. A good amount of people were concerned about losing our green space and traffic. And then there were a fair amount that felt comfortable with the growth. They liked the growth. So how would a rebrand affect the following people? Those who are pulling for more growth and change, those who love their town but are ready for an update, and those who strongly fear the wrong kind of growth. So in conclusion, how to proceed moving forward, I want to start with the last option, so cleaning up. So this option for you to consider is cleaning up the existing logo, the existing branding that we have. We actually, and all of our digital logos, they're not high resolution enough. We don't even have a high resolution logo to share or distribute to people when they ask for it. So Gruskin would clean that logo up as well as help us with promoting our logo as it is. Second is brand evolution. So this option starts with the existing logo and our system of branding throughout the community and evolve it to align with our current values and vision for Hanesport. And then finally, brand revolution. We'll take the attributes that we hold dear and develop a new logo and brand communication system that is more aligned with who Hanesport is now and where we want to go. So my recommendation, of course, would be brand revolution. I think that was the intent of this. I think it's important, and so does Gruskin, to somehow connect our historic part of Hanesport, our residents who have been here a long time, those residents who are woven into the history of Hanesport, and connect it to the new people of Hanesport and the new things of Hanesport today. So that would be a brand revolution, and somehow tie those two together, as well as highlight the attributes that were extracted from the surveys and the input from the residents and the employees. Green space, Rancocas Park, our municipal park, family-oriented, quaint, small but mighty. I kind of feel like those are the things that have framed this process. So that's where we're at. So the next step would be to contract with Gruskin on doing a development of our branding as well as a new logo, if that's the direction that you so choose. Not saying that you have to make a decision today, I just wanted to present to you the summary, because there are a lot of residents who participated in the survey, as well as our employees and you guys. That's it.
Thank you.
What's the
You're welcome.
committee's pleasure on moving forward with the rebranding project?
We don't necessarily have to make a decision tonight. I will be providing you with their proposal on each of these 3 steps, because it obviously is a monetary expense, and then a more concise summary of what exactly they would be doing, and I can provide that to you at the next meeting.
I'd be interested in seeing those things. I'm certainly interested in moving forward. We spent the time, it's 1976, that's,
Long time ago.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's not that long ago. I'm kind of the old school,
Whoa,
but,
yeah.
you know, I'd like to see all the data and what they came up with to see how if we are gonna change the branding.
Well, you might
What
be
we
the
need to do.
cleanup, you know?
Right.
Other
You
people
know,
may-
that's
so
all. I
it's-
mean,
So we want to go forward to see what it is that they've come up with.
It was very nice to find out our students made that logo.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's nice.
the logo is nice, but it's really too small. It doesn't look
Yeah.
good, it doesn't show on the trucks, it doesn't show on any apparel. I'm not really I'm personally not for changing the logo, but maybe
We
making
can
it a
improve
little, little bigger, you know, so you can at least read it when it's on one of our employees' clothing or so on and so forth.
We need to make a motion, or? we-
Now, we can decide later.
I think we have a consensus.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation.
You're welcome.
Revolution, evolution, cleanup, those 3.
Comments from our solicitor tonight.
No report, Mr. Mayor. Happy to be here.
Don't talk so much next time, all right? I appreciate it. I know you would have waited. and
Generally,
I-
it's a good thing if the lawyer's not talking.
I know he was gonna rescue me if I went too bad. I probably went bad enough, but not enough where he felt he had to rescue me from anything. So we're gonna start with comments from the committee. We'll start with Mr. Levinson.
Okay, so I have 2 comments. First one, a special thank you to Janice Ludden, a member of our Environmental Committee, for taking the time to find and write an NJAC grant that will provide monies to help us create a pollinator garden in Hainesport. This garden, which will use native plants and useful hardscape, will be small enough to fit most anywhere, and we hope will be copied over and over again by our residents at their homes. From one garden, we wish to inspire many gardens that support the web of life, which feeds our bodies and our souls. And another is a more serious comment, and this is one man's opinion, that America is the last best hope for a free and prosperous world of civilized societies. Without our dedication to freedom, we risk finding ourselves and our children behind an iron curtain. In a battle between good and evil, there is no compromise. Freedom is not free. We pay for it in one way or another. We must continue to support Ukraine and our freedom with our hardships while they pay for their freedom with their lives. Evil without remorse, but with intent, must be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilmore?
Okay, well, I'd like to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting, and again, sincerest, heartfelt, just heartbroken, you know, it's just unimaginable. Mine's a much lighter message for everyone. We have a few things coming up worth noting. The senior citizens meet the second and fourth Thursday of each month at the Street Community Center, and they would welcome new members. The Easter Bunny did arrive at the Township building on Saturday by fire truck, and a wonderful time was had by all. There was over 300 children in attendance. I know this because of the eggs. I was happy to attend a meeting regarding the launch of the new Township app. God willing, and the wind blows in the right direction, next month, maybe we'll be able to make an announcement. On the 20th, The township is going on their first historical bus trip of Burlington County. They'll be visiting 5 sites and having lunch at Marcello's in Bordentown. It's the first time we're doing anything like this, and hopefully it'll be expanded to go other places in Burlington County. Ending up with, in 2 years from now, doing the historical sites in Hainesport. On April 22nd, the township will be celebrating Earth Day. At 10 a.m., there will be a storytime walk in the park for preschoolers, crafts, scavenger hunt, a walk with a guide for older children and adults. There'll be 2 master gardeners to answer questions, a representative from a company that turns valuable organic waste to compost will be there. The Township Environmental Commission will be teaching on how to attract butterflies. There'll be special guests. Mother Nature will be there with a friend. We hope that many will come out and take advantage of all the educational information, fun, and hands-on activities. On April 26th at 2 p.m., the Burlington County Mobile Lab will be at the Street Center again. This lesson will be about using your smartphone. They will return on May 31st, June 28th, and July 26th for more computer lessons. Also on April 26th at 7 p.m. at the Street Center, there's an informational session for Hanesport veterans or their family members of a deceased veteran regarding an award ceremony that will take place on our annual Veterans Day luncheon, November 11th. There's more information on the website and also in the hallways. Please don't forget to pencil in May 14th for our fire company's 100th anniversary and June 4th for Community and Wellness Day. This is Poetry Month, and that being said, I have a poem.
A poem?
A poem.
A poem.
Long ago, there was a cat who swallowed a ball of yarn, and when the cat had kittens, they all had sweaters on. Happy holidays.
So motivating.
Jerry?
May 13th, we're dedicating the Township Municipal Garage to Jay Jones. It's going to be 5 o'clock, I believe. So if you could all make it, that's great. You'd have to park here and walk over. I said earlier, Wednesday, I was at the firehouse. I'll be there. Mondays and Wednesdays, I have a lot to learn. I really can't ask people to join unless I'm going to consider doing it. I think that's, we have to get people out. Monday, they were training elsewhere, but I'll be there tomorrow night. And that, like I said, the more I can learn about it, the better we can understand how it is and how we can get more people to join. So I still think, I fully support the fire department, and we're going to make them, we're going to see what improvements we can do. And like I said, I'm looking forward to spending more time there. Like I said, I'm probably not going to end up joining, so just don't tell my wife. So that's it for me, though.
Ken?
I'd like to welcome back Mayor Bruce, who was not able to be with us last month, and we're happy to have you back. And
Thank you.
full of fit, vim, and vigor, so thank you and welcome back. Glad you're with us. Physically, spiritually, and all the above. I just want to again express my condolences to Michelle, Jim, and their family. It's just, my family has been praying for all of you, and it's just heartbreaking. I'm breaking up just thinking about putting myself in your shoes. And we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get this right. And you're right. If you didn't come and do this, not to say that it would happen again, but I certainly can understand badly if it did. So thank you for doing that. And I can only imagine how emotional it is, and everything else is just a blur, because that's so important. So thank you, and prayers with you. I also am praying for our fire department and all our emergency services, and obviously we've been told over and over again that the volunteerism is lacking. And so we're gonna get this fixed, and we're going to continue to work on this. And to Jim's point, progress, continual progress. So supportive of that, and want to make sure that gets done as well. Really happy to see that the sidewalks are going to be done this month. That's the goal, and the playground, the municipal playground is going to be finished. It was supposed to be done, but so hopefully we're looking at the week of May 2nd, so I'm glad to see that done. And also want to wish everybody happy Passover and happy Easter. Thank you.
You know, it's kind of strange that you sit up here and somebody lost their home, and then somebody lost their table, and they're almost as upset. Then we're talking about rebranding the town, which is one of the things that we do up here. Yeah, you got to kind of try to put it all into perspective and just try to keep moving forward. You know, I had just gotten out of the hospital, and I think the doctor, I went to my checkup, I think 2 weeks ago, and the doctor said, well, you can start driving in about 3 weeks. Well, I was a week out, 2 weeks out, when I heard about the fire, and I hobbled down there. Michelle didn't even have any chairs to sit in. She wound up with a tent and blankets, and just a real outpouring of the neighbors that, you know, to try to help her, you know, get through, you know, and I can't imagine, you know, what you went through. But, you know, to that note, we have an executive session tonight, and there'll be a lot of meetings about this. And again, I don't want the fire company to feel that this is any reflection on them. It's a reflection on your government, because again, it's our job to make sure that the residents are protected. And we have an executive session tonight, and it's to protect public security. So we're going to initiate some discussions now tonight, in addition to meeting after meeting. I'm committed to be available whenever. I don't really know that business, but we're going to figure it out. We have a lot of good people here, and you know, we're going to figure this out. And it's not going to be something 2 years from now. Most of you know me. I'm a doer. You know, I think the rest of the committee up here are doers. We don't lollygag on issues. When they come to us in small town fashion, we've pretty much dealt with them and tried to move on. So that's my comment tonight. We're looking for an adjournment to enter into executive session. Do we have a bill list first? Yeah, I see that. So we're going to make a motion to pay the bills first.
So move.
Second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes.
So we expect closed session to be about a half hour, and I don't anticipate any formal action.
So you're free to wait around. There'll be no, nothing voted on, nothing, no action taken. I'm getting hard of hearing now.
No, what did she say? The door's not working?
The handicap button wasn't working on the door.
We need a motion.
You got better hearing than me.
Can we make a motion to close out so we can go into special session, executive session? Okay, I'd like to make that motion. And a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Levinson?